Hey, Dr. Mike here. Don't just dig in. There's a method to what you should eat first on your plate. Stay tuned to find out more.
You're listening to Live Foreverish, a show dedicated to helping you live just a little longer. Here's your hosts, Dr. Mike and Dr. Crystal Gossard.
All right, welcome to Live Foreverish. Very, very interesting show. I'm telling you right now.
I'm ready for it.
This kind of stuff, because when I read this stuff, I can still eat what I want to eat. I just got to do it in the right order. Right? That's what it's telling me.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, food order. The order that you eat your protein versus your carbs, etc.
Right, your macros.
Your macros, thank you, can make an impact, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. We already know that the quantity and type of carbohydrate consumed definitely can affect glucose levels, insulin levels, and this is, how many times have we said this is a big issue?
Of course, yes.
Millions. I mean, I almost probably every episode we kind of throw in sugar stuff in there.
A million times.
A million times. Sugar and fiber. It's probably our top two. I don't know. Anyway, so we know that. We know that the quantity and the type, all that kind of stuff of the carbohydrates are important if you're wanting to control what we call the glycemic response, sugar levels basically.
Right. Well, the glycemic response is what refers to how high your blood sugar goes after your meal.
After you eat, yeah.
After you eat.
Yeah.
Most people how does it spike?
Yeah, spikes. That's what I was going to say. Most people have probably heard it as sugar spikes, right? Eat a donut and your sugar levels are going to spike.
Correct.
Right. So things that you can do to dampen that. Now, yes, just don't eat the donut. That might be a good start.
Well, that's...
But what we're saying, beyond that, when you look at your dinner plate, lunch plate, whatever, the order that you eat the food can have an impact, right?
It can have an impact. So that's what we're calling meal sequence or food ordering. You know, there are different terms for this at this point, but we do know now it is becoming established as a practical dietary approach. It's pretty easy for managing not just diabetes, obesity, and those glucose excursions that we talk about that sometimes.
Yeah, so I'm going to let people know right off the bat, and then we'll show you the research. It's better to eat the protein first. At the end of the day, we'll go through the study and we'll look at, we're going to go in detail of why and what happened, right? But at the end of the day, the summary is eat the protein first, right?
That's the end message.
See, that doesn't help me.
Why not?
I'm a snacker. So even if you give me a full dinner plate of food, I snack each little part, and I tend to go to the carbs first.
Well, now you know. Knowledge is the best step to change in behavior.
No,
Dr. Mike.
Knowledge is the best way to cause stress.
Oh, my goodness.
Because now I got to figure out how to make the change.
Well, something very simple is to add an appetizer. A protein appetizer.
So
there are no other food options on the table in front of you. So you have
it's not bad
your
idea.
Protein, and then wait about 15 minutes.
And then eat the rest.
I
like that. I could do that because I like the appetizer because I'm a snacker.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the research and let's see what this shows. So the first one is what we call a pilot study.
Right. So this is a study from 2015. The pilot studies are usually a smaller sample size. They're kind of testing out their hypothesis, seeing
is this really a thing?
Is there something to it?
From a real research standpoint, the pilot study is one that determines whether you're going to spend more money on it.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's true.
Do we need more top dollars?
Do I need to go out and get more money? Before you do that, let me see the pilot study.
Yeah. That's true, Dr.
And a lot of the investors want to
point.
see the pilot study. So that's what that is. But it's still good information. It's not something we want to draw absolute conclusions yet. We still got studies to do, and we have to look at it, right? But it's a good start.
Yes, and I like this Good Start study. It's using a typical Western meal. Now, Dr. Mike, he has a problem with the amount of calories they consumed in this meal.
It's not typical. It's not.
So here's the design. The participants fasted overnight, 12-hour fast, and then they came in on day one.
Day one, yeah.
Their blood sugar was measured at baseline. Glucose and insulin was measured. And then they ate a meal. This meal was about 628 calories.
Too low.
55 grams of protein, 68 grams of carbs, 16 grams of fat. That's visit 1. And this was, and let me just back up. Visit 1, they ate the carbs first.
Right, yes.
Followed by the protein 15 minutes later, and followed by the vegetables. So it was really a sandwich, and they broke the sandwich apart.
They basically did, yeah. So they went with the bread first, then they get the meat in the middle, and then they did the lettuce. I mean, it's something like that. So they get their baseline numbers, baseline glucose, baseline insulin. They eat this meal that we're calling typical, whatever. That's fine. And they started with the carbs, went to the protein, etc. So, but my whole thing, and the setup's fine. The setup's fine. I just don't think 620 was it 620 something calories. That's not typical.
It's typical for me, so I don't have a problem with this.
I'm not, it's typical for me too, but most people, come on, they eat so much more.
Right. So, but that's not the point of the study.
I know, it's not.
Okay?
It's a pilot study just looking at
pilot study.
Is this good stuff?
So that's visit 1. 1 week later, they repeat the same thing. Come in, they fast overnight, come in, have your blood work done. Then they serve them their broken up sandwich, but the order was reversed. And they had the protein first. And what the researchers found was when the vegetables and protein were consumed first, before the carbs, the average post-meal glucose levels were decreased by 28% at the 30-minute mark, 36% at the 60-minute mark, and 16% at the 20-minute mark. So they were measuring blood sugar after the meal.
Yeah, they were looking at the spike. And the spike was dampened by simply changing the order of what you were eating.
And I would have to say, Dr. Mike, it would not have mattered if it was 1,200 calories. I would dare to say that. I don't think the amount of calories in that meal played a difference on the excursion.
Well, that's not what the study was about, but we could have an argument about that.
Okay.
Is there a tipping point for the amount of carbs that then ruins the sequence? We don't know that. So it would be interesting. If this is a good pilot study, it's a good result. I like it. I think they should do a larger study, and I think they should look at different calorie levels.
Well, I'll have to tell you, regardless of what this study showed, that the next article that
she just moved right on.
That we wanted to highlight was a review article. And we know the review articles, they kind of look at overall, what is the research telling us? And the review article highlighted different types of studies. There are some studies where they preload it with a protein shake, like whey protein, or preload it with individual amino acids. Not really realistic.
It's not. Well, the protein shake might be, but not. People aren't going to do like sophisticated blends and stuff.
It's not real life.
Yeah. You're not gonna sit. What if you go to a restaurant? You're gonna order a protein smoothie first.
Exactly.
They probably don't even have them.
Yeah. So there was one study where the participants had about 55 grams of whey protein before potato soup.
It sounds funny.
Or glutamine. Another study, 40 grams of glutamine before, a mixed meal. And so in both of those studies, the researchers saw the same
result.
Same results.
Yeah. Even though that may be just helping to solidify the idea protein first is best. It's not practical though.
Right.
Now in the review, didn't they also look at maybe fish? Wasn't fish part of this?
Yes. Well, this is a different study where they actually preloaded fish and meat as a source of protein before rice. What was interesting about the fish meat? We saw the same results. The meat before the carbs improved postprandial blood glucose. But they made an important point. The fish, it brings in this concept of fat. Okay. So we said at the beginning, basically it's the protein, but we are seeing that maybe eating fatty foods before the carbs will also decrease postprandial glucose. And not just fatty foods, the type of fat matters. Saturated fat is more likely to cause you to kind of store fat and it's not the best approach. But the polyunsaturated fats, like having, there was a study where they had, I can't remember how much olive oil, but just straight olive oil before the meal.
Like a shot.
Oh, yes.
Didn't you make me do a shot once?
Maybe I did.
Jeez.
But
not good.
But polyunsaturated fats may also help to support healthy management of blood sugar.
So that's interesting. So it may not just be protein; it could be fat as well. Now, what type of fat probably needs to be worked out a little bit more? Because I'm thinking nice little cheese platter.
No.
Before you have your rice.
Dr. Mike. But
look at this. I don't even get a chance.
Okay, let's backtrack. I think the cheese platter will work, but ultimately it's going to work against you, because if you are storing fat, then now you're setting yourself up for future issues with blood sugar regulation issues and metabolic syndrome and everything like that. So
maybe there's a healthier choice.
But the cheese is pretty good protein when you think about it. You're getting
I'm not
protein
talking
and
about
fat.
like a whole block of cheese. I'm just talking about a couple good little slices.
All right.
You know me, I got
Dr. Mike, he loves his cheese.
So at the end of the day, this is great stuff, because what it's teaching us is that food order can influence how the body is digesting these things, metabolizing this stuff, and it can help to keep your sugar spikes down, which are so important. Real quick, I don't think we need to go into the details, because I don't think it's all worked out yet. But like, what's going on here? Is it doing something with these like hunger hormones, or what's going on?
Ding ding ding. We do know that it's delaying gastric emptying, meaning that you're staying full longer.
Yeah.
It's also suppressing a hormone that's involved with releasing sugar into the bloodstream. It's kind of the opposite of insulin, known as glucagon. And we're finding that is being suppressed. And that's one mechanism to how it's helping to kind of prevent those post-meal glucose spikes. We also see that it's suppressing appetite by targeting a gut hormone. So all of the above leads to better glucose management. Better glucose management then leads to great weight management.
Yeah. Meal sequencing. How you eat your macros during lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? That's really good stuff. Great. And it is important, because again, it's our soapbox. We're going to continue to teach everyone that listens to this show that we all need to be concerned about how much sugar we're getting, whether you're diabetic or not. We have done many shows on that. Even a slight elevation in your fasting blood glucose, spiking after eating a donut, all that stuff is very bad, and it does cause damage that has long-term effect.
That's right, Dr. Mike. And this is an easy approach.
Yeah, that's
People
what I love about it.
People like to eliminate things and say, I can't have this.
Yeah.
Just kind of modify it.
Just change how you're eating it. Yeah. I will note one thing in the study that I thought was interesting, and we don't need to really tease this out right now. Maybe it's for a future show, but was how they broke up the meal into, like, you eat this first, wait 10, 15 minutes or something, eat the other. Slowing down is very important when you eat. We eat so freaking fast in this country.
We don't even chew.
I mean, it takes 30 minutes to make the meal, and my son comes in and it's gone in 2 minutes.
I know. If you pause and savor the flavor,
enjoy and chew your food and all that kind of,
Well, it gives the body and the brain a chance to kind of understand,
catch up.
Food is here. Let me make sure I'm producing all the right hormones to get everything going.
Give your brain body a chance to keep up with what you're doing.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Great show. Dr. Crystal, thank you for putting this together about meal sequence or meal order. I love it. I'm going to start trying it, and I think you should too. Oh, by the way, at liveforeverish.com, we have a ton of episodes. You should go check it out. And when you do, and you download one, like it, share it, comment, and subscribe so you never miss a show. That's liveforeverish.com. I'm Dr. Mike. Thanks for listening.